Welcome to the Check Swing Podcast with myself and the star of the show. My man Coach Stan is in the building. He's got his coach's helmet back on. It means he's ready to go in and make something happen today. He's ready to go for the goal, go for the gusto. What's happening, Coach?
It's going, man. It's going. Been a good week. Have you seen on my social media posts a couple of them today where some players I've coached in the past have committed to schools between Division 2, Division 3, JUCO, all that good stuff. So just proud of those guys. The only bad thing about this week is we got a field mouse, and I've been trying to kill this mofo. And he's been coming out every other day, like blah, 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 and scaring everybody and then going back. So I haven't had the chance to kill that sucker yet.
Man, you got the glue traps.
Uh,
You know what? You know what? Don't answer that because Peter. We don't know. We don't have no problem with Peter right now. We don't want to.
Okay, I have 8 out, so
Yeah. Those help. They can help. Put some peanut butter on them.
yeah.
Could help. I once had an electric trap too.
I think Peter would have more of an issue with that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Electric trap.
They would absolutely have an issue with that, and the fact that I caught a couple with that bad boy too. Yeah, it's electric trap. So, it's a box, right? And you know how them traps are with the boxes, you can go in, but they can't get out.
Right.
So there's like some holes on the one end, and it walks in here. It's got to go up here, and it's got to come back down here, and then it come back here to get to whatever food you put in there, where the holes are. The holes are there where the food is, so the smell gets out. When they get to where the food is, the trap has a metal plate. They step on it, zap zap, no more mouse. Cancel Christmas.
That's actually pretty cool. I may consider that as a alternative to what I'm trying to do.
Hey, well, it's going to be fun. Never, I won't get into it. But when you catch, you're gonna be like, ooh. Ooh, I wish I heard it. But yeah, welcome to the Check Swing Podcast, y'all. We appreciate y'all hanging with us. We are here to talk about quite a few things. A little bit of Phillies news just coming across the table, thanks to R. Dot. We're gonna talk about that in just a little bit. Also, hold on, get my notes because I just put my notes on the phone. And of course, they're not up there on the page because, why would they be? Baseball teams relocate. We're going to talk about a little bit of a history lesson a little bit there because there is a baseball team that will be relocating soon. And if you don't know who it is, then you may not have been watching our show earlier this year, but we'll tell you who it is in a little bit. Sha'Carri Richardson. You know what? When I say her name out loud, I'm like, wait a minute. She always corrects people for saying her name wrong.
Mm-hmm.
It's Sha'Carri, right? Or Sha'Carri?
Sha'Carri.
Are you sure?
No.
See? I always say Sha'Carri, but I think it's Sha'Carri. If you know, please let us know in the comments. If you know for sure, 100% certain, because there was a video that she put out. Oh, I don't know if she put it out, but there was a video that was out that whoever was like, it was at a track meet, and somebody called out Sha'Carri, and she yelled back Sha'Carri, or the other way around. I can't remember, but I think it's actually Sha'Carri. Either way, we have some news about Sha'Carri Richardson that we're going to talk about. Eagles Chiefs Monday Night Football is on deck. Don't have to worry about football on Sunday. Don't have to worry about missing anything. Well, for me, you know what I mean. But if you like to watch all the games and sit there on Sunday watch all the games, cool. On Sunday, I only get 2 days off, so on Sunday I'll probably be out and about. Actually, I know I'll be out and about, so I'm only going to be worried about football on Monday night we'll talk about that. Um, and speaking of the Eagles part ways with a player today. They waived somebody today, so we're going to talk about that a little bit as well. First round pick at that. First round pick out of Georgia. First
That's
round
so
pick out of Georgia. They waived him today. Okay,
that's so
so
misleading.
huh?
That's so misleading.
It's the truth.
It's so misleading.
It's what you call clickbait.
Hmm.
It's what you call clickbait. But no,
Yeah.
in all seriousness, a player was waived by the Eagles today. First round pick out of the University of Georgia. So stick around. We're going to talk about that as well. What you want to start with, Coach? Oh, and Coach Miguel's going to be Coach Sanders going to be stumping me today. So uh,
Yep.
be ready for that. What you want to start us off with, Coach?
We can go baseball with expansion or not expansion, relocation.
Relocation. All right, let's start off with that. So over the years, you want me to go with yours, with your slide or my slide?
You can go with yours, whatever you have.
I like yours better. Um, so over the years, teams relocate in all sports. They relocate. It happens, right? Um, and if you've been watching our show earlier in the year, we spoke about how the Oakland Athletics will be moving to um, Las Vegas, and I was told I was actually given a I'm not gonna say like an insider tip, but I was given I was in Vegas earlier this year, and my cousin out there was telling me that they're about to move the Oakland A's out there because the population is growing. Like certain things that need to be met to have a professional sports team were being met by Vegas because so many people are moving out there. So Oakland A's in Vegas, and I hope they play in the dome, Miguel.
They have to.
I mean, whew.
But I mean, so have you heard like the inside as far as like um as of maybe like 2 weeks ago, the deal looked like it was going to fall through for Vegas because I don't know if well, you've been to Vegas and they're supposed to be building on a lot right across from, I believe, the MGM Grand and New York. There's a big lot right there on like the southwest corner, whatever that is.
Mhm.
But in order for you to have a retractable dome, you need almost one extra whole city block because it has to go open, close, or whatever.
Right.
Um, but one of the issues is that if you're using just a square block, you can't have a retractable dome. You would just have to have like a regular dome. Because I believe the summers there are like 120, 130 degrees, so you would
I'm
have
telling
to have a
you.
dome. Um,
I remember my first time out there. I've told this story before. My first time out there, our cab broke down in the desert, and it was 115 degrees that day, and it was in the middle of a heat wave of days being like 115 and up and all crazy. So yeah, that was fun. I enjoyed it. My wife did not, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
I bet you did. Um, but yeah, so and then there was the owner, and I can't remember his name because he's a flying piece of garbage. Um, he
Flying piece of garbage.
well, he's kind of he's one of those stuck up rich people that he really is just trying to turn a profit. But I was reading something today, and I think since he bought the team somewhere around 2004 or five or something like that, um, they've placed the Oakland A's, I believe, have placed no higher than like in all of baseball, they've placed no higher than like 26th. So he never really put anything into the team, um, except to announce that they're moving. So he posted something, said this is a sad when yesterday the major league owners met and they voted unanimously to allow the move to happen. and he posted on his social media that this is a sad day for Oakland, but a wonderful day for Las Vegas. Um, and some of the things is it's like one of those rich. He's like one of those rich tone deaf type of people. Um,
Hmm.
because there was actually a deal in place for them to have a new stadium built in the area in Oakland called Howard Terminal. It's similar to like I guess you could say like it's a combination like Penn's Landing and the Inner Harbor.
Okay.
But they were supposed to redo that entire area and for it to include this new stadium in that Oakland area. But there was a deal in place with the city officials. They were going to put up their end of the finances. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, we're moving. We don't have a deal in place. So he kind of was dealing in bad faith, I guess you could say, because he just wanted to be in Vegas. Um, but
Who
time,
doesn't?
yeah, but Vegas isn't a place. Even if you look at like real estate numbers, Vegas isn't really a place that people live in per se. I mean, is it a growing population? There's some stats that say yes, some that say no, but you know, it's hot all the time. You get rain like what 1 day a year, 1 day every 2 years, and locust every five. But other than that, it's like it's really a lot of gamblers, degenerate gamblers. I might be generalizing or stereotyping, but um, you know,
Probably. I would my wife and I are actually considering moving to Vegas. Our next move would be to Vegas. Um, I was I was given the opportunity to see around Vegas, like outside of the strip,
mhm.
to see like what Vegas was about, and I like that. I mean, I don't know, I was probably in a very nice area. I don't know. Actually, I'm pretty sure I was in a very nice area because I have seen a lot of real estate in Vegas that the whole neighborhood got bars on the window. Area I was in did not have bars on the window, so I know I was in a nice area. Um, but it's definitely like it seems like a place to me, outsider looking in. Of course, they're going to have their people that are, you know, homegrown, but it seems like a place like New York. No, that's a bad example. Uh, a
Bad
place
example.
like Miami, where people are kind of they're from other places,
Oh, I see. So it's like a yeah, I know what you mean.
and I
That's
know
that's
I've heard that like Atlanta is like that, where a lot of people from other places and come to Atlanta and
and
stay.
pretty much Florida, the entire state of Florida. The old joke was Latinos that were born in New York and they die in Florida. So
Wow. Okay. That that's a joke. It's
that was a running, yeah. It
like a
was,
little saying. I got you. I got
yeah.
you. I was thinking about it like, damn, that's kind of morbid for a joke. I think I was taking it a little too
Yeah,
seriously.
you were like, geez.
Like, man, that's messed up. Let me move this over a little bit. Oh, so I can get comfortable. Um, my notes. Over over the years, see, we don't get a lot of teams moving anymore. I shouldn't say anymore. It's not like it happens all the time, but like when I think about our lifetime, and I'm not thinking 80s, but I may mention something that happened in the 80s. Um, there hasn't been a whole lot of teams moving in our lifetime. Like you put, for example, right there, 70 and 72, you had the Seattle Pilots become the Milwaukee Brewers. You had the Washington Senators become the Texas Rangers. 2005 in our lifetime, the Montreal Expos, and I was looking at the word too. was looking at the word, and I do not know how Milwaukee came out. I'm looking at the word.
Too bad.
Montreal Expos moved to Washington D.C. and became the Washington Nationals. Um, and I'm thinking about some of the other moves in our lifetime. Um, the Browns became the Ravens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Browns became the Ravens. I know the Colts became the the Colts. Baltimore Colts became the Indianapolis Colts, and then the Cleveland Browns became the Ravens. Um, the here's a weird one for you. The Charlotte Hornets became the Charlotte Bobcats, which became the New Orleans Hornets. I mean, and then came back to the Charlotte Hornets, then turned to the New Orleans Hornets, and then they moved to New Orleans and became the Hornets. Then they became the New Orleans Pelicans, and then a team came back to Charlotte and became the New Orleans. I mean, became the Charlotte Hornets. Um, Basketball, you don't see a whole lot of moving. You had the New Jersey Nets become the Brooklyn Nets. And I can't think of any other moves. You had, oh, hold on. Because of the New Orleans Pelicans playing, no, excuse me, the New Orleans Hornets playing in New Orleans and Hurricane Katrina displacing them and then playing some of their games in Oklahoma City. Then Oklahoma City became or got a basketball team known as the Oklahoma City Thunder. So just a little history lesson for some people there. But how one team became three. Think about it. The Charlotte Hornets basically became the New Orleans Pelicans and the Oklahoma City Thunder in a sense. Think about that. That's basketball. Now in hockey, and I'm not a big follower of hockey. There were a lot of teams moving in hockey in our lifetime.
Yeah, hockey's atrocious because they tried Atlanta on two separate occasions, and both times were huge, embarrassing failures. Um, but the issue was they used to have not a majority, but almost a third of their teams were from Canada because that's obviously your fan base. Hockey's from started in Canada and whatnot. But Quebec went to Colorado. Winnipeg went to Phoenix. So they started going to like the Sun Belt areas.
Yo, you're good because I could not remember what teams became what teams during that whole era of those teams moving.
Hartford went to Carolina.
Hartford Whalers, okay.
They went to to Carolina to become the Hurricanes. Let's see who's left.
Who moved to Phoenix? Does Phoenix still have a team right now?
Phoenix still has a team,
Okay.
and I believe that was the Quebec. Quebec went to Phoenix.
Quebec went to Phoenix. Okay.
Yeah, Quebec went to Phoenix.
Quebec Nordiques went to Phoenix.
No,
Okay.
no, no. I'm lying. The Winnipeg Jets went to Phoenix.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Quebec went to Colorado.
Okay.
The only reason why I remember Quebec and Colorado was because they went
Back
on to win like 5 Stanley Cups with all those players that should have been on the Flyers. So,
I
um, and I
remember
think
that.
they expanded. The Calgary Flames actually started in Atlanta as the Atlanta Flames, and they flamed out in Atlanta because nobody likes hockey in Atlanta. So that's when they moved to Calgary, and then they decided, hey, let's have the Atlanta Thrashers. Let's build a new team in Atlanta. Again, another huge embarrassing failure, and I think that team went back to Winnipeg because now the Winnipeg Jets are back.
They are back.
So,
Wow, we really just got into hockey there. Because I was about to say some more about hockey. I kind of wish that they didn't make all those moves and hockey still had those Canadian teams.
at the end of the day, the reason why certain sports work in certain areas is because you got to go by your fan base. The South is a little bit tricky because the South has so many college teams. So like, there's always the knock about Atlanta, how, their sports fans are casual sports fans, especially like Braves fans and stuff like that. But when you have like, Georgia Tech, and you have rivalries with like Clemson and UNC. So it's like every state kind of has like that, the battleground states in
Mhm.
college sports, especially basketball and football. So Major League Sports kind of takes a back seat to that. Places like Phoenix, like you have the Phoenix Suns, you have the Coyotes, you have the Diamondbacks, and the Arizona Cardinals.
Mhm.
Football's doing okay there. Baseball, there was a nice little run there, but their usual attendance is, average at best. Hockey's always been low. Basketball's been so, but they've had some good basketball teams the last couple of years. So it's like it just depends on the sport. You know what I mean? Like I'm actually surprised in Baltimore there's only two major sports.
Yeah, I kind of am too. Because the Baltimore Bullets became the Washington Bullets, and
Right.
now
And they never had,
Washington.
and Baltimore has never had a hockey team. Um, and I haven't been to the arena yet, which is formerly the Royal Farmers Arena, formerly the Pepto Bismol, whatever it is now. But it's not like the arena, like you know, um, Wells Fargo or anything like that. Um, so I guess I kind of get, there's a lot of arenas in the Maryland area too. So it's
A lot
I
of
think
arenas and only two teams. Kind of
yeah,
how'd that happen?
poor planning.
I wonder. Like there has to be something to that. I mean, we might have to dig into that one day because you got Philly right there, you got DC right there. DC a heck of a lot closer than Philly, but DC has all the teams. Philly has all the teams. Baltimore has two. There might be something about a vicinity rule. I don't know. Could be. It could be splitting the fan base. Who knows?
Well, there was a battle between the Orioles and the Nationals
Mhm.
that recently got resolved. So the TV network down here is MASN, which is Maryland Area Sports Network, right?
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
so what was supposed to happen was there was a court ruling maybe like 10 or 15 years ago that um, the money proceeds that are made through advertising are supposed to be split almost directly in half. But the Orioles owner has not paid the Nationals in those 10 years. So they had to kind of battle it out in court. And I believe the court ruled that there should be some, percentage or whatever. So they're going through that now. But it's funny you mentioned that whole territory thing because it was one of the reasons why Oakland is moving because San Francisco has that area across the bay. So they're like, okay, they can't go to San Jose because they have rights
Mhm.
to that area. They can't go to Santa Clara, same thing. So it limited Oakland as far as where they can go. So that's why they were actually considering even going to Portland or staying in Oakland or going up to Sacramento. So that was kind of the whole thing with the A's. And, you know, again, going back in history, the reason why, the A's are they have a local tie to Philadelphia is the A's started in Philadelphia. The Philadelphia A's were in Philadelphia, I believe, from like 1901 until 1954 when they moved to Kansas City.
Damn. You just spit that knowledge out like that, huh?
I watched a lot of documentaries as a kid.
What were the years again?
I don't remember when it started. It was either right around 1900 or right before 1900. But
Uh,
they did leave Philadelphia in 1954, even though they really didn't have to. But they claimed there was no money, or that that Philadelphia couldn't have two teams. It was too much money to fund two teams in Philadelphia.
hmm.
So they left for the wonderful city of Kansas City, and they only lasted 12 years there before moving to Oakland.
And for a while they were like recently I went I should have asked you first. And that was hard dot with his comment there. He said nobody watches baseball in Oakland.
When the playoffs are on, they watch it. But yeah,
I always thought it was interesting that team in Philly be called the Philadelphia Athletics, and the team in Philly called the Philadelphia Warriors. Both ended up in the Bay Area,
hmm
but they were not associated with each other at all. And they took different paths. I always found
different paths, different owners. Yeah,
that's very interesting. Um, I just like history. That's all. Um, that fast, I lost my train of thought. Let me go back to my notes. So yeah, so the Oakland's going to LA or Las Vegas, excuse me. I hope they have a dome. You say they have to, but I'm thinking about it. I don't think like UNLV plays in the dome.
they
I don't
better.
think they do. They might, but I just don't think they do. I'm trying to think it out. I went around UNLV, but I wasn't like touring
Well,
UNLV. I'm trying to think if I saw the baseball field.
what's the weather like in the fall in Las Vegas? I mean, I know
It's probably like in the 80s and 90s, probably in the 90s. Or it's in the
Okay,
fall. In the fall, it's probably I bet
so
you it's like 70s, 80s.
you were right. They used to not play indoors, but actually now they do. As of
Well, I used to be
September,
right.
they play at the Allegiant Stadium, and it's a dome. Looks like it opened up in 2020.
Gotcha. So they got the heat got to them. RDOT said in August it's 110.
So it's seasonal,
But you're saying how what is it? What's it like in the fall?
right?
Um, in July it's 120, 115, 120. So, but in the fall, I'm thinking it's like 80s in the fall, 90s in the fall. Oh, he says the Legion Stadium where the Raiders play. I guess that's is that maybe where UNLV plays?
Yeah, probably they probably have the same deal, like the like Temple. So in September the average temperature is 96. In October it's 83. In November it's a balmy 70.
Oh, I'm sorry. When I was saying UNLV, I'm sorry. I should have been clear. I was talking about UNLV's baseball team
Ah, gotcha.
because we were talking about the A's. So I should have been clear on that. Um, and I should have realized it when you said the fall, but I was thinking fall ball. Anyway, um, let's move on from the relocation. Let's talk a little bit about All Star games because Philly is getting the All Star game, y'all. Philly's getting the All Star game as we cycle through. Sorry about that. I should have gave you a little bit of warning there. You may not have that one.
That one
All
I
right,
don't have, so you
all
might have
right, there
it.
we go.
There it is.
There you go, right there. Future MLB All Star locations. So as you can see there at the bottom, Citizens Bank Park, Philadelphia, PA, is getting the game in 2026. We only got to live 2.5 more years, y'all, to be able to see that. So I hope we all make it. Um, but next year it'll be in Globe Life Field, excuse me, in Arlington, Texas. And I get why it's the newest stadium in Major League Baseball. But they get some good stuff there at Globe Life Field. They got the World Series in 2020.
hmm
They got the World Series this year, and their team won. And then next year they get the All Star game.
You know what's funny is speaking of heat. So you remember they used to play at the previous stadium,
Arlington,
Arlington, the ballpark at
Arlington
Arlington, whatever.
Stadium.
But when you look at that stadium, they pretty much built this stadium to fix the mistakes from that stadium. They said it was cheaper for them to build a new stadium than it was to add a dome to Arlington or the Arlington ballpark Because the issue was they for whatever reason, the geniuses that built the stadium 30 years ago didn't take into account the Texas summer, the heat and the humidity. So they were like, well, they had plans to actually put a dome on top of the current ballpark at Arlington.
Mm-hmm.
But they said they would have to like shut it down for 2 years, and then the cost would be equivalent to a brand new stadium. So they were like, buck it, we'll just build a new stadium. So now you have this perfectly good stadium, and they have no clue what to do with it. They have, I think they
You
have
talking
like
about Arlington Stadium?
right. So they have, I think they have like a local soccer, the MLS soccer team uses it, and I think one of the, I guess like the USFL football uses it, but other than that, they have no other use for it. So it's like it's just there, wasting money,
Just a big
wasting.
old stadium, but it's pretty old too, ain't it?
It's old, but it will be equivalent to like Camden Yards. All they had to use, all they had to do was update it, upgrade it, but they just didn't think about how intense the summers were. Um, yeah, so
Yeah, summers in Texas can get pretty hot. I've only been to Texas once, and I think it wasn't the summer, but it was still warm down there. So I think I left here with like a puffy vest, because at the times when I was wearing a puffy vest instead of wearing a whole coat.
right.
I left here in a puffy vest, but it was hot down there. I was down there in Texas in shorts and t-shirt. Um,
Gotcha.
so our dot is giving us a tidbit of knowledge. It's about football. Um, I'm gonna pop it in now, and then we'll come back and what we're talking about. So a tidbit of knowledge now that Joe Burrow is out for the season. Andrew Luck was sacked 115 times in 55 games. Joe Burrow has been sacked 148 times in 52 games.
Sounds like neither
Shoot.
one. Sounds like neither one is ever going to win a Super Bowl.
It sounds like Joe Burrow might be retiring early too.
Yeah, you saw. Did you see him try to take the warm up throw last night? And he was like, "Oh, like
No,
why would you do that? You know?"
I am one that, for whatever reason, completely forgets that there's Thursday night football. Completely forget. Like I literally, you and I can be talking about the Thursday night football game for an hour until the game comes on, and I'll go to my TV to turn something on and completely forget there's Thursday, because I don't have like regular cable. I have internet cable. I'm not going to put them out there, but it's one of the internet providers, right?
Oh, okay.
The Thursday night football game is not. You kind of have to navigate to see the Thursday night football game advertised on what, not advertised, but I'm not going to get too deep into it. But basically, I always forget about the Thursday night game completely, and I actually forgot about. I think I was talking about the Thursday night game with somebody yesterday. Got home, came in the house, was like, I'm gonna watch the football game. I think I got something to drink, laid down in the bed, and started watching like Family Guy or something. And completely forgot about the game.
So
Didn't
random.
remember it until I was on my way home today, and somebody said something about the game, I believe. Right?
Well, I had no choice but to remember because it was Ravens Bengals in Baltimore. So
Yeah,
we
yeah. So it's
started,
in your face.
yeah, we started seeing the scalpers outside. So I usually where I catch the bus about a block from Camden Yards. So everybody's coming in as I'm going out, and my bus usually, the driver that I have at the 405, she usually there's no such thing as proceed with caution with her. I'll just put that out.
Okay.
Yeah. But
Who won the game last night, bro? Baltimore won, right?
Baltimore was 34-20.
Okay. All right. Well, congratulations to them. Um,
Oh,
but 2026 All Star Game, Philadelphia. I remember the last All Star Game, Philadelphia, was at Veterans Stadium. I'm actually really surprised that it took this long for it to come back to Philadelphia. I think it was 96.
yep.
It was 96.
Ozzie Smith
30
last.
years? Is that 30? My math don't math that well. 96, oh 06,
Almost there.
16, and 26. Yeah, it's 30 years. 30 years. But the best thing about it to me, the best thing about the All Star game in oh 06, I went to the All Star Game Fan Fest down the convention center,
Oh man.
and that was pretty dope. And I got to see. Um, I always joke and say that was my first concert. I got to see LL Cool J perform his song. Um, I don't know what it was called. They only played it in like the commercial, but it was like it was a song about baseball, and it was pretty cool. I got to see it up close and personal. And they had those batting cages with the screen,
Hmm.
like a projector, and it has the picture. And
Right.
I ain't touched the ball.
Mm.
First of all, it was dark. You couldn't see. Like it was dark in there, and all of a sudden the ball is like halfway there before you even know it's thrown. And the
Good
ball, it
Lord.
wasn't like a yellow ball. Like when you go to the cage, it wasn't a white ball like a real baseball. It wasn't like green bright tennis ball. It was a gray tennis ball that they were throwing. So it was a gray tennis ball in the dark. Couldn't see. Yes, I'm complaining about not being able to hit the ball in the cage at 15 years old. I believe I was 15. I was 15 at the time. Yeah.
And that was years ago.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Um, are you excited about that, Miguel? I mean, I know you don't live in Philly anymore, but you're not that far. We are hop, skipping, and jump away. Excited about a Philadelphia All Star game?
You know what? Like in '96, it was exciting. It was the first time like I watched the home run derby because that was it was Mark McGuire versus Barry Bonds, which was pretty epic because I believe Barry Bonds won that one in walk off fashion, no less. But since probably like I want to say after the steroid era came out, I think the All Star game kind of lost its luster.
Yeah,
Um, like
I
I
believe that.
thought, I honestly thought like having All Star game uniforms because baseball was the only one that where every player had wore their own jersey.
Mhm.
Um, I thought that would make a difference. Like you have the National League jerseys and the American League jerseys, but I'm like, whoever's designing these jerseys is I don't know. I'm just not impressed. But I
Can I expound on that a little bit?
sure,
So I used to hate the fact that they did not have the National League and American League jerseys, right?
right. I did
Hated
too.
it.
I did too.
And then they started doing the thing where they had National League, American League jerseys at the home run contest the night before,
Right.
and now they wear them in the game, and they wear their own jerseys the night before.
Right.
I hated it, but now I wish they would go back to it.
I
So
don't
let
know
me
that.
let me give you my reason why. I want them to go back to it because I've always said it. I've been saying it for years. Major League Baseball does not do a good job of promoting its stars. So somebody like me that I watch baseball in a different way. I watch it as a coach. I don't even pay attention to who's on the mound, who's at the plate. I just watch it as a coach and think about, all right, what would I do in this situation? What needs to happen here? Like that's how I watch games now. I don't really watch it because I don't know who the stars are.
Right.
And if they went back to doing it the old way, which I used to hate, I would kind of be able to associate stars with the team that they're on. Can't really
Well,
do that now. And
well,
they don't promote stars that well. So I don't know who some people are.
and I think they tried to do it a couple years ago, but I think then COVID hit and it just didn't sync well. Plus, you have some stars that I think they were really trying hard with Trout, but Trout's
Mhm.
personality was like, I don't want all that. I just want to play the game. I want to play the game and go home and be with my family and root for the Eagles. Um, so when you're not willing, when you have some players that aren't willing to be marketable, then you kind of have that, that kind of struggle to promote your game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Um, so was that like a no? You're not really excited about it?
I don't know. I think I would like to do the Fan Fest, which I didn't do back in '96 because I didn't even know what the hell that was. Um, 'Cause, I mean, living in the hood, it was like baseball was one thing, but when it comes to um, the All Star game, being here, it's like it wasn't really advertised in my area, if you know what I mean.
I
Uh,
got you.
so yeah, it's like I don't know. I think it's one of those things like I gotta experience it to really
Mhm.
kind of judge it well because otherwise it's just an exhibition game. And I know they tried to do the whole, well, the winner of that particular league will, have
I
the home
thought that
game in the
was
World Series.
I thought that was so stupid. I thought that was the dumbest thing.
Well,
You're gonna have an exhibition game decide home field for a championship.
but what else was there to do? I mean, even though like even if you take the
Here's
home run derby,
here's what else they could have did. They could have the All Star game be exactly what it is, an exhibition game, and you allow people to be subbed back into a game.
I think they should allow some.
Because the reason they did that was because the game had ended in a tie or something like that, and
Right.
or whatever it was, and they people didn't want their pitchers to keep playing, and they didn't have any more players to sub in or whatever like that because they end up stopping the game, right? If I remember correctly.
Right.
How about just allow people to be subbed back into the All Star game? Like make sure you get all nine players, all players in that's supposed to play in the within the 9 innings. If it goes to extras, play your strategies out.
I think that if the home run derby is this big deal during the All Star break or during the All Star week, if the game is tied after 9, just do a home run derby. But it's every player, so basically, like you just go through the lineup. You start from the leadoff hitter and just work your way down, but it has to be players in the lineup.
I like that idea, but here's how I like it because that sounds like it would take a very long time. A one swing do or die for each player in the lineup.
That works.
I think I like that.
That works.
Instead of giving them like the 3 minutes, which I actually really hate the 3 minutes or whatever it is that they do. I don't like that. I'm not a
That
fan
was,
of
that
it.
was, they wind up cheating anyway.
Not a fan of that, and I'm not a fan of the tournament style home run derby. I've let that be known.
What's funny? There was an All Star game I was watching. I was looking at highlights from I think it was 1987. It was in either San Francisco or San Diego, one of those All Star games. And did you know that they actually had a skills competition? So like
You were telling me about this once before, I think.
they showed Benito Santiago throwing from his knees, his pop time. They were showing
Yeah.
it was
Hmm.
like outfielders like Brett Butler, trying to hit a target. They were trying. It was like a fly. It was like that video that Fred McGriff video, that training video. You can be a
Uh,
baseball player today. It was a line drive like to center field. You had to try to hit it, make the throw into like a trash can or a target.
uh,
Now obviously, hearing that it's like, well, players can throw their arms out, da 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 da. But don't they have skills competition in NBA and they have it in hockey and
football too.
and football? So it's like, why not do it in baseball?
Yeah, you know what? I would love to see that something like that in baseball, but they would probably go end up going the NBA route, and people will punk out because they were afraid to lose.
Oh, you mean like James Harden? Oh, I'm sorry, is that too soon?
I get who any star that should have been in a slam dunk contest is what I'm referring to. Take your pick. It doesn't matter.
Do
Um,
people actually watch slam dunk contests anymore?
I don't know. Well, Vince Carter made it hard to watch for people to watch because his dunk. Have you ever watched that dunk contest, Miguel? The Vince Carter one?
I remember it being replayed for like 3 years after that, and then they're making a big deal about it.
I see that dunk contest today, and I'm like, wow. But there has not been a dunk contest that has lived up to that since. I think there might have been one that almost got kind of close recently, but I mean, you had Vince Carter, Tracy McGrady, Steve Francis going at it.
Yeah,
It's classic. It's
and don't
classic.
take offense to this, but I compare the slam dunk contest to modern day hip hop or rap music. It
Ha-
everybody does the same thing. There may be a noise or two, and then that's it.
when did you start that comparison?
About 4.5 seconds ago.
Yeah. Well, hey,
You,
if
you
it works
know
for
you know what
people,
it is. It's from riding. It's from riding Baltimore public transportation, because the garbage that I listen to.
what happened? You muted yourself.
Hello.
There we go.
Yeah, yeah, it's just atrocious. J- Just
Um,
just what I hear on the bus rides to and from work.
we want to. I'm gonna mention real quick. I'm not going to talk about it too much, but I think it's a bad idea. Baseball is talking about shortening the pitch clock. I don't think that's a good idea. And the thing about it already, like you only gave it one season. But anyway, um, congratulations to Sha'Carri Richardson. Is it Sha'Carri or Sha'Carri? I mean, I always get nervous
Shikari,
when I say her name because I always feel like I said it wrong.
Shikari.
See, I've always said Sha'Carri, but I feel like I was wrong when I was saying that.
It sounds it. So to our younger generation, can you please stop adding like hyphens and making it a challenge and then starting a confrontation because you're not saying my child's name right. All right, well then spell it in a way that it can be universally understood. Don't put any hyphens. Don't put any. What is that stupid little symbol? The tilde.
Oh, the
Like
tilde.
don't. Yeah, don't no ampersands, no pound signs.
I'll tell you what, I like it. I like it. I think it's unique. Um,
You can be
I'm not
unique,
going
but
to get too deep into it because I really could, but
you can be unique. Just don't be pissed off that half of
yeah,
the
I
world.
mean, I think she handles it well because um, I think she handled. uh, I got to put this one in there. Art says our generation spelled her name, so
Well, I apologize, but to the future ones, stop doing it. It's annoying.
um, she handles it well. I mean, Miss Richardson, we're bringing this all up because she was named the Jackie Joyner Kersey Female Athlete of the Year. So congratulations to her for that. Um, what an accomplishment for her because as we know, what 4 years ago, whatever it was, she qualified for the Olympics, and then her, I believe, she was she was
Disqualified for.
disqualified. She was disqualified, and she was she couldn't run in the Olympics. So she now I think she won the world championship this summer,
Hmm.
and now she is a Jackie Joyner Kersey Female Athlete of the Year award winner. So she has definitely come a long road to making that happen.
And she also, we have a guest, and she also went back to her alma mater, and she now has the high school track is named after her in Dallas, Texas, I believe.
Oh, that's cool. Hold on, I want to see some. Uh, I'm just looking something up real quick. Um, but this summer she ran in the world championship. She won the 100-meter dash in the world championship, which to some people was an upset. I didn't realize that it was such an upset. I thought she was the favorite at one point, but she wasn't. She was like, well, she came in. If I'm not mistaken, I believe she was in like lane 8. So, and what happens, if I remember from my track days, your better runners are always put in the middle, towards the middle of the track in the finals, and they're putting them in the center lanes. And then the people that ran the worst time, it fans out from there. So she was in like lane 8, and I think she just like barely got into the final, if I'm remembering this correctly. And then she came in and won the whole thing, tore it down, won her championship. So, congratulations to her, and I can't wait to see what she does in these Olympics coming up in Paris, 2024 in Paris. Hey, we got an Olympics coming up next summer, Miguel. I love the Olympics. I love the Olympics.
You want to go?
Yeah.
Let's go. So we don't need. What's the stereotype? We don't need deodorant and we don't need to shave.
Why?
It's a inside joke. I'll tell you after the show.
Okay. All right.
You never heard of Pepe Le Pew?
Have I?
Yeah. Sorry. It's a stereotype. I apologize.
Oh, you are hilarious. Trying to think. So the Eagles today, like I was saying earlier, they waived the player. They released a player that was a first round draft pick out of the University of Georgia.
This is so dumb.
First round draft pick out of the University of Georgia was waived today by the Philadelphia Eagles. And when I saw the story, I couldn't believe it. Miguel sent it to me. Here you go. The Eagles finally waived Bernard Williams, their 1994 first round pick, who hasn't played in nearly 30 years. How does this happen? I'll tell you how it happened. Bernard Williams was suspended after his rookie season for some reasons and basically never applied for reinstatement, which means he never was removed from the suspension list. NFL recently goes through their suspension list. They're doing some house cleaning, and they're removing people on there from there that shouldn't be on there. And they saw Bernard Williams from 1995, the suspension from 1995, and they informed the Eagles that yeah, this guy's still on your team 30 years ago. What you want to do about it? They waived him. University of Georgia. My question to you, Miguel: how does Howie Roseman let this happen?
Well, I guess it was kind of an oversight because this was before Howie Roseman. Um, but I mean, it didn't hurt anything. He wasn't getting paid. Um, he wasn't gaining any pension credit. So he didn't count against the roster. It literally was just his name. He was the 14th player taken in the '94 draft. That's the 14th player. But after, because the other thing is too, I think people forget he played in the CFL. I literally just found that out.
He played in the. Are you about to lay it out? He played in the CFL.
Mm-hmm,
He played in the XFL.
mm-hmm,
He played in the AFL.
mm-hmm.
He played in the CFL again, and I'm pretty sure I'm missing one. I'm pretty sure I'm missing one. I feel like he played in five other leagues than the NFL. But CFL
No,
twice, the XFL, the AFL.
that was it. He
So he
hasn't played.
played.
Yeah,
So I was talking with R Dot earlier, right, about this, and then I was thinking, all right, so he was suspended in '95, right? Suspended for the season, suspended indefinitely, whatever it was, right? Wasn't nobody looking for him? Like this is your first round draft pick. Nobody was like, yo, where's Bernard? What's going on with this? Nobody? like like your first round draft pick and then like you just forget he exists? Like what?
yeah.
I mean,
So
I'm sure somebody can explain it, but come on, man.
in one of the articles, it was talking about how Lurie Blaine Norman Braman, who was the owner he purchased the team from.
Right. Yeah, I
Um,
remember Norman Brayman. I remember people talked about him terribly too.
yeah, that was my first sports disappointment when he wouldn't re-sign Reggie White, and I got a Reggie.
My first one too.
I had gotten a Reggie White jersey for my birthday, only for him not to be signed. So
Actually, I don't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry because that is sad. My 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 first sports disappointment was when Maurice Cheeks got traded.
oh wow.
Yeah, like damn. Like I did that. I was just like so he doesn't play for the Sixers anymore. Like
Right.
he's not like I didn't understand. Like I didn't know you could just be traded. That was my first. And then Reggie White not being resigned was a heartbreaker because that was like the first time I was like, oh, you can lose a star player.
Well, and actually, technically, that was the second time because the year before that was when Jerome Brown was killed.
Oh right, yeah, that hurt. That
Yeah,
hurt.
you ever see the story behind that?
Yeah,
So there was a evangelism thing at the vet, and Reggie White, who was a licensed minister, was scheduled to talk. And right as he walked up on stage, he got the word, "Hey, Jerome Brown was in a bad car accident. Him and his cousin are dead." And then
wow.
you could see the anguish in his eyes, and he still pressed forward, and he had to announce it. It was a sellout crowd at the vet, 65,000, and you just heard nothing but gasps and screams. So
No,
yeah,
that story I never heard.
yeah.
That story I never heard. But wow, I couldn't imagine. But yeah, I remember that. I remember Jerome Brown, and I remember quite a bit. I remember they had the ceremony at the vet in the beginning of the season. I remember. But yeah, Bernard Williams finally off the books, technically.
Only
Good for
took
him.
them almost 40 years.
Something like that. Oops, sorry. Um, am I missing something? Oh, Monday Night Football, Chiefs, Eagles, Eagles, Chiefs. How you see it going, Miguel?
Well, Eagles are kind of in a better position coming off the bye. All the people that got injured in the last minute of the last game should be fully healed. So,
Hmm.
um, I mean, it's going to depend on how, you know, what the status of what the real status is of Jalen Hurts because that whole knee thing is kind of nerve wracking right now. So,
They're reporting on the news, and only in, well, I shouldn't say only in Philly, but only the lead story, not the lead story. There was a story on the news just on the simple fact that he removed the knee sleeve and was not practicing with the knee sleeve on. Like that was like a big deal. So that's how much we pay attention to our sports in Philly. Like when people want to complain about Philly sports fans, and that's how much we pay attention to our sports. Because in the news, not even in the sports, in the news, it was Jalen Hurts took off his knee sleeve and wasn't practicing with the knee sleeve on. I agree. I think this game they keep calling it Super Bowl rematch, and it is. But it's not that heavy. This is probably the least important game both of these teams will play all season, right? It really is. I mean, you want to win the game. You want to keep hold of your standing wherever you are in the league. But this game is not really important to either team. The Eagles aren't going to be out there, and if they win, it's redemption for losing the Super Bowl. No, they just won another regular season game. I think they will win this game. Um, I thought the Dallas Cowboy game was going to be a blowout, and it wasn't. It started off looking like it could be,
Hmm.
but it was not a blowout. I kind of feel like it should have been, but Dallas kind of did some things too that if they had done it better, then the Eagles would have lost the game. Um, being that I think it's going to be a close game in Kansas City. I think the Eagles win the game um, 30, 32-27. I don't know where I got that number from, but I just pulled it out the hat. 32-27 Eagles win. What you got, Miguel?
Uh, I think Big Red is ready for us again. There's still something about the team. They still seem kind of off to me, the Eagles. Um, so I'm gonna have to go the opposite way, and it'll probably be with the defensive starters coming back. I'll go 28-17 Chiefs.
Mm, wow. Chiefs defense isn't that good. I don't think they hold the Eagles offense to 17.
You know what though? It's funny to me when we're supposed to blow teams out, we don't. So, or
Yeah,
we don't
but I
get
think I think the Chiefs are good against the pass. I think they do have a good passing defense, but
right. But see,
Sam Jurgens is fat.
right. But just what you said there, they're good against the pass. Even though we have a good running game and a good offensive line, I think we've done a lot of outsmarting ourselves in the
Oh,
last couple of
absolutely,
games.
absolutely.
Like last year when we were supposed to run and everybody in the stadium was said we were supposed to run, guess what we did? We ran and we did it successfully. This year it's like, okay, we know we're supposed to run, but they know we're gonna run, so we gotta out fool them and all this garbage.
Andy Reid used to do that a lot.
Yeah, a ton.
He was known for that. Um, and I think that's some of the growing pains that you're going to have when you have a brand new offensive coordinator. Um,
Don't try to
and
prove yourself. Just win the game, you know?
he's trying to put on Jalen's shoulders a lot. So that familiarity might not be the best thing for them. Um, you're stumping me today, right?
Yep.
So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to put this up. I'm going to turn the comment, take the comments out so I can't see the comments. Um, there we go. All right, we got a three-time All-Star and a Silver Slugger. Looks like he played for the Phillies first three teams, first three jerseys, Phillies.
Uh-huh.
Then it looks like the Mets.
Uh-huh. He
Tampa
likes
Bay.
I'll say this about him. He loves changing his numbers a lot.
I see.
So the
Uh,
next team after that was the Dodgers.
okay, Dodgers. And then is that the Reds? Or is
Yes.
that the Phillies again?
No, that's the Reds.
And then the Yankees.
Detroit Tigers.
And then the Dodgers again.
Uh, no, Toronto and
And then the Mariners.
Kansas City.
That last one's Kansas City.
Yeah, but navy blue and powder blue.
Okay, it's coming up a little different on mine. All right, just tell me the teams again because I was just listening back already. I wasn't thinking.
Phillies, Mets, Dodgers, Blue Jays, Royals, Reds, and Tigers.
And give me the time span of this person's career.
About the same time as Mariano Rivera, Mariano Duncan. If I give you this one guess, you might get it.
Phillies, Mets, Dodgers, Reds, Tigers, somebody, and Royals.
Toronto and Royals.
Phillies, Mets, Dodgers, Reds, Tigers, Blue Jays, and Royals. What was the last year of his career? Do you know?
98.
The Royals sucked in '98.
Yeah.
What position did he play?
Yes. So here's two things I'll tell you. Started out as a second baseman. Then he got moved to the outfield. Then he got moved to the infield. Then he got moved to first base and then DH.
Jordan?
Excuse me?
Ricky Jordan?
Absolutely not.
I was just throwing that one out there. I just remember him playing first base.
So I'll throw this out there for you. You actually said his name during the pre-show. You threw out like 7 or 8 names during the pre-show,
and one of them was right.
Yeah, and
and that's why I didn't say none of those names because you were telling me they were wrong.
I lied to your face. Because
so these teams in order who they played for?
Do you want the order that he played for?
Yeah.
Phillies, Mets, Dodgers, Toronto, Detroit, KC, and Cincinnati.
Phillies, Mets, Dodgers, Toronto.
If you think about the time frame, Phillies, Mets, Dodgers, that's your answer there.
Phillies, Mets, Dodgers. Damn. Phillies, Mets, Dodgers. Who went from the Phillies to the Mets? And started his career in Philly.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's not Kevin Stocker. You already gave me Kevin Stocker one time. Kevin Stocker also played for the Rays, and the Rays aren't on there.
Mm-hmm. And Kevin Stocker was garbage.
Yeah, he never made an All-Star game. Who did I say? I said Pete Incaviglia earlier.
Which is incorrect.
I don't remember who else I said. Jim Eisenreich?
You didn't say. I think that's the only benefit about lying to you is that you never forget what your lie was.
Mariano Duncan.
No.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Juan Samuel.
On Samuel is the answer.
Oh my goodness. My dad, if my dad is watching, he is probably man, because he told you to tell me I used to run around the house just saying Juan Samuel.
So here's my only time that I was
Liar.
ever close to greatness. My fifth grade teacher actually dated Juan Samuel.
Really?
She bought her a convertible, and I remember she was driving it up and down this block. And one time he actually came to get her, and I was trying to see. All I saw was Jerry curl juice. I saw the Jerry curl pot. It looked like Soul Glow, but
Just let your
So
soul
Glow, So Glow. But yeah,
Man, I'm so mad at that.
Are you mad at the fact that I lied to your face?
No, I'm not mad that you lied to my face. I'm mad that you lied and I believed you and I couldn't and every time I thought about it when I was going to guess, I was like, no, he already said no. And I just didn't throw it out there.
You know what's funny? So a childhood friend of mine is watching via Instagram Live, and he actually remembers the name of the teacher.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was like, "Is it Mrs. Such and Such?" I was like, "Yes."
That's funny.
Yeah.
I had a neighbor that used to date DJ Jazzy Jeff.
DJ Jazzy Jeff. Did they have house parties and stuff? Or
I didn't know her when she dated him.
oh, gotcha.
It was in younger days. All right, we're gonna get up out of here. Don't laugh, man. We're gonna get up out of here. We appreciate y'all hanging with us here on the Check Swing Podcast. Make sure that you check us out each and every time that we are on right here. Click the alert for, and what you can do is you can go to youtube.com/Neutral Radio and subscribe, and you can see all of our shows there on the live tab. Excuse me. Or you can go to newtoolsradio.com and click the link next to Check Swing Podcast and check out the audio versions of our shows. For Coach Santa, and myself, we're going to get up out of here. Like I said, we appreciate y'all hanging with us. We'll talk to y'all next time here on the Check Swing Podcast. Peace out, y'all.